Welcome to my stables. I am the DMobo, and welcome back to Echoes of the Past. Last episode, the party was blowing off some steam and killed some six-legged creatures and some flying lions. They managed to save Eastrel, the red dragon of the desert, through a very meticulous surgery, and they are on their way back to the city to discuss battle plans for the incoming army in 4 days. Now, as the party was leaving, a bright light had gone over the party and enveloped it.
Oh shit.
Congratulations, Rhea. The light surrounds you the most, and the scenery of the desert fades away. You find yourself looking in a beautiful forest clearing, and everything comes rushing back to you. You remember you are a full elf, born to an idyllic family in the very secretive town of Ilia, consisting of Lilu, your mother, Tawn, your father, and Nisana, your older sister. You see the years fly by, and as you grow up, you relive your admiration to your older sister. You saw her training to become a defender of Ilia, but something always held you back. It started off small at first, the occasional blur of black and white, a whisper here and there, pushing you towards acts that most people would seem childish. Amongst occasional missing items, a broken fence sign here or there. From the other's perspective, and you can see it for yourself now, a smaller version of you kind of looking down at the ground. The other adults berating you, your parents looking slightly disappointed. The only reason you got caught was you weren't really as subtle or stealthy as some of the other kids. And, well, you got caught a lot. When one of the adults asked you why, you heard yourself say, "It's the small avian." When pushed for further information, you saw yourself telling the others how it would goad you to do further acts. And some of them that you even told them, "I'm not doing that." Eventually, over the years, you see yourself sitting down, talking to something. You hear it say, "Oh, well, nice to meet you, Mr. Flibble." A sign of trust from the penguin. Unfortunately, this made the adults see as nothing more than an imaginary friend created as a scapegoat for your young deeds. Your parents tried their best, but you saw that your sister saw that it was actually a problem, and she pushed something to be done to help you. She realized that it was less of an excuse for bad deeds, but something more lurking within. You are sitting with your sister and the alien sage, and you all discuss that it could be a sign of mental illness, or hopefully that it could be something done if it was something more lurking on the outskirts, preying on the young mind. There is another person to believe in you. The pink elf that you remember seeing in your dreams, and you remember her name. Enima. Even though that you had done some of the petty crimes as a child, Annie would take the fall for you. Although she couldn't see Mr. Flibble, she would converse with him through you. You would talk to the penguin, there would be a pause, and you would repeat it to any. Any would ask a question, a pause, and you'd reply. With due time, the local sage agreed to help you with your problem, using his ways of magic and mysticism to form a mental block within your mind. You hear them saying, if it was a mental illness, the block should lessen its grip. If it was an outside force, it would keep it out. And you get a slight chill as you hear the words, as long as you remember. More years pass, and your relationship with Annie grew. At first it was side glances, a little flush of the cheek here and there. And you decided to make your feelings known to Annie. You see the two of you standing face to face in a smaller clearing with shafts of moonlight being able to break through the leaves. And even though Annie's gray eyes normally looked like that of the storm, they were so clear and bright and shining when she smiled and she gave you a kiss. A few more years go by, and the barrier of Ilia starts to pulse. Even though you're not magical, there's something inside you that pulls you towards where the barrier is being disturbed. You, Nisana, and Annie go out to the barrier and you see a group of goblins and trolls. After being told their story, Nisana brings them back to the village elders. Here what happened was they were run out of town. They were in a forest far close to the shore, and they were attacked. Their village and people decimated. There is one in particular, and you recognize him as Pete. Pete had become almost like an older brother to you. Very protective, but still keeping his space not to be smothering. After learning of the attack, you saw yourself pick up the sword and you started to train along Nisana, at this point who had rose many ranks in the town. It was only until word had reached the town of an ill wind approaching that your sister would finally see battle, and she and the other defenders moved to combat the coming threat. The barrier broke, sending waves of panic and shock throughout the other elves. Evacuation took place. You see yourself argue with the village elders and your parents to partake, but you were told to stay back, as your inexperience would surely see your end. Annie stayed with you to at least keep you safe. After a few hours, a few survivors came back. Annie left to help with any wounded. She returned, her face crumpled, and she looks at you with complete despair. In her hands is Nisana's shield, dented, scratched, and broken. Pete had returned, but only broken and bruised. This is when your true calling, yourself as of right now and your past self, you feel rage and anger. But instead of lashing out at others, you use it as fuel for your training, preparing yourself for the day you could get revenge on your sister's killer. Pete shortly left after the massacre of Ilya. And you see yourself and Annie hug him and wish him safe travels. As the Dark Lord's influence grew, you prepared to leave. With the town's blessing, you set out to take down the one who had taken your hero from you. Along the way, she fought alongside and befriended others with similar causes to fight against the Dark Lord. After 4 months' travel, you reach the desert city of Gula, hearing they need fighters for a task. You are surprised when you walk into town in the gathering area. You see Pete there. You can definitely tell he is stronger and older. Almost like the emotional burden he's carrying has aged him. You feel joy and you catch up, remembering the good times and telling him how Ilya is, how Annie is. There you met a crude dwarf, and he revealed himself to be Goombert, Hammerbell, a cleric. You see a short little halfling atop a brown wolf trying to flirt with the other female adventurers. Some flirt back, others give him a death stare. He sees you and tries to sweet-talk you. But you are polite, and you say, "I'm sorry. I'm taken. But thank you for the flattery." He introduced himself as Korik and his wolf brother Solus. Further along the hall, you see a person with gold skin with blue rounds around his head talking intently with a woman with bushy hair and a raven sitting atop her shoulder. You go up to have a short conversation with them, and their name is Sage, the woman, and the gold-skinned man is Kyrish Stormwing. You're all grouped together, and you decided to name yourself Gondra. You took the O for optimistic. You traveled around the world, liberating it, one city at a time. You traveled to Ilya, again, Theme, Bralk, and Misa. However, it would be this friendship that would cost you greatly once more. During the way, you noticed Sage was a bit shy, always following a few feet behind the party, either her nose stuck in a book or writing something down. At one camp, you decided to sit next to her, and she shies away a little bit. You've been traveling for a few months at this point, towards Leigh, and you ask her why so shy. She doesn't really want to say, and as she starts to clam up, you manage to hear an arrow being loosed. And just as it is about to hit Sage, you block it with your sword, splintering the arrow. You alert the others, and there was an ambush on the way, but you felled all of the creatures and the undead ones. The party goes back to rest, and Sage opens up. She had lost someone very precious to her, but she was afraid any further connections would just cause more grief and anguish. It would get in the way of her studies. You share your story of your sister, but instead of letting grief take over you, you let the rage fuel your desire to push on, your determination. Sage looks up and nods as something clicks in her head. For the rest of the journey, you two would be thick as thieves. You would be the balance to Sage, as she would want to go pry and snoop around, and you would be the good conscience, like, no, we shouldn't do that. We're supposed to be the good guys. You finally reach Leigh to liberate the town. You've shown like the true warrior you are as you save the people of the town instead of hiding. Korik and Bert, they left to do their own thing, and when everything was all done and the party was rested, you left. You realized on the trail you were heading home. You weren't ready, though. Deep inside, you feel the longing of missing home and everyone in there, but it still felt like yesterday when your world was destroyed. With bated breath, you led the way, but was extremely surprised to see the forest alive and the houses intact. However, Sage, getting anxious whenever magic is around, she detected some magic, and she realized it was from the illusionary school. Bert broke the illusion, and the Ilya went from the pleasant elven town to how she left it, burned, splintered. You feel the pain in your chest, and you can see yourself putting your hand to your chest and kind of taking a step back. Bert apologized for hurting you, but it's not your fault. But thank you for showing me the truth. You and Pete reunited with Annie. Annie seeing you for the first time in nearly a year, and she rushes towards you. She jumps into your arms and you hold each other for a minute. At least she survived. You spent the night making new, happy memories with everybody. However, when all you could do was done, you left, giving a final farewell to Annie, and making a promise that the time lost will be very well made up for. You started down the road to Theme. It was a complete disaster. Upon entering, you can see the small army in the middle of town, and without thinking, you all rushed in. You see Bert's yellow magic wipe out the weaker undead with one spell, while you took out the stronger ones. Your war cries in the din of battle drew out some of the townspeople that were hiding in the destroyed buildings. They joined in the leader. They joined in the fight. Their leader was a Chew, a half-orc and half-human monk. You see Pete go over, and they share a warm handshake and a hug. A Chew thanked you all to no end. After you rested and rebuilt some of the homes, you took to the roads once again. You find yourself in the very familiar swamps of Brolk. The soft rain falling from the sky, and the normal noises of the swamp. When entered into Brolk, you were celebrated as heroes and welcomed with open arms, and you stayed at the Bubbling Inn. You wished to hone your skills, so you walked to Cord's training grounds. You learned a great deal from the other warriors, and you began your training. However, after a few days, Sage came in, grabbed you by the wrist, and started walking out. You need to relax. Your body needs rest. Now come on, we're going to Ollie's. Now, everyone was impressed, because we all know how Bert can drink. With your muscular frame, but not as burly as Bert, you were able to keep up with him drinking, and the two of you bickered back and forth harmlessly. You had filled in your orders for your upgraded weapons and armor, and you walked out like 1,000,000 gold. You were truly a force to be reckoned with. The final city you stop at is Misa. This was the territory before the Dark Rulers. As you're in the city, you can see Kyrish walking around, almost lost. Sage goes to go talk to him to learn more, but a gentle hand on the shoulder stops her. There were a few skirmishes throughout your stay, but there was a main battle with the Dark Lord's forces. And you met face to face the person that destroyed your home and took your sister away. You recognize this figure as the hooded man that stabbed Amora. As you go to keep fighting him, he slams something on the ground. You're all knocked back a good few feet and you're stunned. You see your eyes start to flutter on the ground. Get up! Get up! But then you hear a crunching noise. When you look around, there's a figure blocking out the sun. And you watch this figure slice you with a sword across your face. You see yourself sit bolt upright, and you can feel the blood pumping through your veins now. It's bad enough this person stole your sister, but now he's a coward for attacking a defenseless opponent. You see yourself jump up, grab your sword, and not even caring that your cheek is gushing blood. You can't even tell on your face if it was the rage or the blood. But yourself now and yourself then did not care. You see yourself viciously attack the cloaked man, and any injuries that he gave you, you just pushed right through. You may not have been able to save your sister, but you can save your friends, and save Pete. You see yourself get close enough to plunge your blade hilt deep into your foe, and you smile, an angry but victorious smile. You, in the present, subconsciously go to where the human half meets the horse half. As you notice, and your old self looks down, there's a blade in your abdomen. Your face drops with shock, but the old you, she was still smiling. In her mind, she won. No one alive could handle that type of wound. You see your group loosen on your blade. You see her eyes start to flutter. And you see her close her eyes, falling limp onto the ground. You see your dead self laying there as the others wake up. But that's all you can see. You can hear muffled noises. The only thing that's clear is your body. Eventually, the scene clears. You see yourself get back up. But, as you now know, you're considered a centaur now, fused with your own horse. You see your old self look in a mirror, and she recoils from her injury to her face, as well as her newfound form. During the fights in Fame, there was a person with a strange mask, and you thought it was pretty cool, so you just kept it. You know, just for bartering or trophy's sake. Well, you now donned it to hide your scarred face away. You considered the old Rhea dead, and you would just live on in just name alone. A few more months passes by, and you all make it to the Dark Lord's lair. You go to kill him, but you almost succeed. You manage to dodge the fireballs from somebody high up on the castle. You fight through the droves of live, dead servants throughout the halls. You get to the throne room, and as you prepare for battle, both the present you and the old you stop in terror, shock, and disbelief. Standing by the throne, sword ready in hand, was Nisana. She looks out of it, and she cocks her head. Another woman that's blonde. She stares at you, stares at Sage, gasps, and grasps Nisana by the shoulders and shakes her out of it. Her green eyes become clear. And then she sees you for the first time, and she looks at the party with an angry grimace on her face. You realize the stance she took is her offensive stance. But at that point, the Dark Ruler snapped his fingers, and the green eyes turned black, along with the blonde woman's. You drop your sword, the point touching the stone. You can't fight her. That's your sister. You slowly back away towards the door. As you retreat, the Dark Ruler spreads his hands, and a black wave comes over you. However, within that dark wave, he didn't realize what he did, what he awoke. As you see yourself falling from the sky, you see Amora flying close, but you also see Bob down in the fields, casting his magic. As you do, look upon this, you see the faint outline of Mr. Flibble tapping you in the face with his flippers, trying to get you to wake up. Mr. Flibble came back, and he had a lot of time to make up for. As the light fades from you, the desert scene comes back. You see Mr. Flibble in the road in front of you, but he's not as clear as he used to be. He kinda is looking at himself. Huh, well... I guess you're the one that got your memories back, huh?
He just slowly nods.
Well, even though it was a short time, it was still fun.
Who knows, it may happen again.
I don't know. You have a lot more friends this time. And you have a dragon to fight with you. That's insane. That's unheard of nowadays. You're also smarter and you're learning from your failures.
Never did answer me. Are you a madness or are you something else?
He goes to put a flipper on your leg, but it just phases through like a ghost. The best way to put this is you were always a fighter. Since you popped out of the wound, you were a fighter. I'm basically a visual manifestation of the very violent tendencies of a fighter.
So you're a fighting spirit, essentially.
One way to put it, but more of the everything must die type of way.
Yeah, makes sense, given the whole rage aspect of it all.
You're different from a lot of fighters. We've seen a lot of combat in our time. You're not just angry because you want to kill something. You're angry because you have something to fight for. And that's probably why you haven't gone on a full-on murder spree.
What you're saying is it's them that's keeping me sane.
Yeah. The fact that you don't follow me saying, hey, they insulted you, kill them. The fact you haven't killed anybody that didn't deserve it. Not only do you have a good head on your shoulders, but you have a good heart, too.
All the more reason to keep them alive then. To protect them.
Mr. Flibble will start to fade a little bit more. It's almost more like a pulsing fade, a slow pulse. It's been fun. I'm gonna miss our little conversations.
Don't consider it a farewell. After all, you are still up here. She'll just like tap your temple. Just means that you'll be having to play back seat for a while.
Yeah, well, whenever you feel that burning rage to kill someone, that's me.
And I'll use it to good use against my enemies.
Make sure you tell that cutie Annie that I say hi.
I'll make sure I do so when I see her again.
She's good people, too. All of you out are good people.
Thank you for everything, Mr. Flibble.
Of course, Rhea. And he will go up to your leg. And for the first time with your interactions with Mr. Flibble, even though when he would stand on your back or touch your shoulder, it was weightlessness. There was nothing. He wraps his little flippers around your leg, and you feel a sense of warmth.
She'll just slowly close her eyes and just try and take it all in.
As you do, the warmth spreads from your leg, from the bottom of your leg, and it goes up, and that warmth uncovers your entire body. As the white light
So excited.
shortly blinds everybody, you see it focus on Rhea. And she kind of stands there, almost as if in a trance. And after a while, you hear her talking. And you can't really make out what it says, but near the end, all you hear is, "Thank you for everything, Mr. Flibble."
Rhea, you okay?
Just slowly open her eyes and look around.
Rhea, are you okay? You're talking about that Mr. Flibbles again?
There's light.
She's just gonna take her attention to look at everyone. And then just let out a deep sigh and be like, let's get back to town. We're gonna make it there before nightfall.
Oh,
Okay, well, let's keep walking. We can interrogate her on the way.
indeed.
Rhea's gonna take up the front. Partly out of a newfound confidence, at least from what people may be seeing, but hang on. Let's see if she can clearly hide this.
If anybody is looking at Rhea as she passes
I
them,
think we're all looking at Rhea.
Yeah, right? I'm pretty sure we're all looking at her.
I will need you all to roll me sense motive checks.
Motives.
21.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh, I don't have any. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh my god, 20.
Nat 20?
Yeah, net 20.
Nat
I
20!
didn't know why I searched
Nice.
for that.
Yes!
Very
King
nice.
Funniest,
Fuck yeah. Way to go.
funniest part is, if I didn't roll that with disadvantage, I still would have beaten out everyone, given I do at least have one modifier in bluff. But
You
given
rolled
I have rolled it at disadvantage, As she is walking ahead, you will see like little wet patches in the sand where she's walking.
Is she crying?
And she's
Oh my
crying.
God, she's leaking.
Shh.
I am.
Kyrish, she's crying.
Yeah, Bert's gonna walk up next to her and
Let the
look at
emotion
her
guy handle this.
and just be like, Rhea, what happened? What's going on with you?
I remember
You remember what?
everything.
Fuck.
You got your memories back?
With all the good and the bad that comes with it, yeah.
So, are the tears of joy for getting your memory back, or are they tears of sorrow for the memories you have?
I don't know. Both?
I don't want to push too hard. I don't want to be invasive. But if there's anything that you want to talk about, that you can talk about without
Well, I'll try and gather
hurting
my
too much.
I'll try and gather my thoughts and we can talk about it when we're back. There is something I do need to say though.
What?
He's gone.
Who?
Mr. Flibble.
Penguin?
So, do you know who Mr. Flibble was then?
Manifestation of my rage. My anger.
Stemming from?
That killing nature.
You don't
Stemming
very
from
much seem like a murderer or a killer to me. Why would you? Can you make me understand?
because I've always had something to stop me from doing so.
Uh-oh.
Are you saying you don't anymore?
I still do. It's just he's rolled back up in my brain now.
So was it a manifestation of your conscious?
I guess
Or
he's been there since childhood, and then he got sealed away by the village elder, the village sage, and as long as I remember that he sealed away, he sealed. When I remembered everything that happened, he went back. The only reason I never really took him up on it or fell down that influence was I had reasons to fight. I had people to fight for.
Now that
It
we
helped.
do more than ever, we have a whole slew of cities to fight for, innocents to protect. You're allowed to be rageful at the evil creatures that are trying to kill all these innocents.
That's the thing. It was focused. And it still is. I don't just have innocence to protect. I got you lot as well.
I don't know about you, but I feel pretty innocent.
yeah, right, Bert.
I was trying to make a funny for Rhea.
Yeah, give her some time. Don't
I am.
interrogate her.
I will thank you, Rhea, for trusting enough to speak on it. We have to get to the city. We have so much to do and hardly any time to get it done. When we have time to relax, I'd like to talk to you more if you feel comfortable.
You're just slowing out. It does look like her mind's still occupied by several thoughts at once. Yeah, we got stuff to talk about. Yeah.
Well, let's travel and talk. Or travel in silence. But either way, let's travel because we need to get going.
Indeed.
Yeah.
With that, Bert just kind of places a hand on Rhea's back. A nice pat. Gonna be okay. Let's go. And they'll start off towards the city.
So, in a attempt to persuade what just happened, I had an idea. But I'm not sure how you lot will feel about it. Waiting for Eastrel to get back, she did say that it wouldn't be as long for her to get there and back as it would for, well, us. And we obviously need to get to other cities. That much we know.
Who thinks you could make it there and back in 4 days is the question.
No, she said she could get there in several hours.
Get there in several hours, come back in several hours as well on top of that. And who knows how long it would take for negotiations.
What would you have us do?
I think it should be a short negotiation. When she explains what's happened to her kinfolk, the other dragons are clearly going to see the horrific implications of what's happening and come to their aid.
We can hope. They're also dragons.
Never bank on the capricious nature of dragons.
No, we cannot. We cannot assume that it's going to happen that way. That's only a hope. In the meantime, we need to get to the city and, I don't know, maybe...
Well, we need to let the king know first.
Yeah, and if we summon Amora through the summoning stone, she might be able to fly to the cities that we can't get to warn them, if nothing else, to at least give them a chance to evacuate, to escape.
Amora's right here.
Yeah.
Oh, she is? Oh.
It's like, wait,
Well,
why?
shit, my bad. Well, yeah, if
Bert.
nothing else, then maybe we could get Amora to fly there and warn people?
Actually, that brings me to an important question. Amora, what's the deal between you and Dragon?
She stops dead in her tracks. Would anyone be walking behind Amora?
I was up front with Rhea.
I don't know, Sage might have, like, stopped for a minute to fall in step with her to ask her a question, but...
I'd assume
no.
that the rest of us are kind of, like, all together, just... I don't know.
A
Sage's
walking
thinking,
cuddle puddle?
Fuck.
Yeah. Walking cuddle puddle.
We could have said that more gently.
Sage, roll me a... we'll do... Reflex. Reflex. Save.
Oh, fuck!
Oh.
I'm in danger.
Alright, someone put the I'm in danger gif up.
Uh-huh.
Ralphie.
That's a 6 + 2 for an 8.
She stops dead in her tracks, and even though you were in step, you're keeping up with Rhea, so you have to walk a little bit faster, but you don't expect her to stop, so you kind of bump into her back, and your face is met with surprisingly cloud soft feathers. And you kind of bounce back a bit. She doesn't react.
Amora?
With hearing Sage bump into Amora, does anybody look back to see what happened?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna see what that sound is.
Now Sage just, like, leaning
Roll me a wisdom
around, looking
check.
at the face.
Okay.
I broke it.
Rhea and Kyrish, what about you two?
Rhea's looking back.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Looking back.
Alright, I need all four of you to roll me some spell checks.
I did something on accident. I didn't mean to do
25.
this. Oh my god.
16.
Nat 20!
13, sorry.
Alright.
Nat 20, baby!
Kyrish, you look back and you can't really tell, but all you can see is her hands clenched and a frown on her face. Bert, you see that when you look, you see the frown, the clenched face, and you see her eyes are closed. Rhea, when you look, you see what Bert sees, and you look a little bit longer, and she opens her eyes, and you felt this before. Rage and sadness at the same time. Sage, when you peer around, you kind of dip down a little bit so you get the full view of her face. Not only is there a frown, but you can see her lip curled in a snarl. You can see the pulse. Her neck is tense and you can see the pulse from there. And when you finally look her in the eyes have gone from a sapphire blue to almost a navy blue, and they are filled with anger and sorrow, and her eyes are slightly narrowed. But she's not looking at anything in particular. She's still just looking at the ground.
Sensitive topic, apparently. I am so sorry. And if I could let it drop, I would. The dragons are in our future, both as enemies and allies. This feels important. What did you lose?
She turns her head towards you slowly. They are the reason I am the last winged elf.
I had a feeling you were going to say something like that. Shit.
The only reason why this red one isn't dead is because I made a promise to Kyrish.
And I appreciate you upholding that.
So you hold all dragons accountable for the actions of a few?
When your city is repeatedly attacked by dragons, no matter peaceful negotiations, going to war, skirmishes, ambushes, and they come and destroy a little bit at a time, it's an issue.
And this is that city across the sea, where you're from.
Correct. And honestly, I fear what may happen if your new friend goes across and gets for help, what's to say that they like Ardnog as well and they conquer that too?
We cross that bridge when we get there.
Agreed. And right now, we have we have our own threat to deal with.
I'm so sorry. I don't have anything else to say, but I'm sorry.
That's all you can say.
Please don't immediately kill the next dragons we come across.
I will make an attempt.
Although if things are going as how I expect, you'll likely have your fill of blood.
I don't do it for sport.
I know. But that doesn't matter. What matters is the innocent lives at stake.
And the dragons are also innocent.
We know that now. We know that now. Yes.
That is all.
But if it attacks, I'm going on the offensive.
Understood. I will not ask you. Quiet your anger.
Average problem.
Let's keep going. I'm sorry that I stopped us.
Don't be. I haven't really been able to talk to anybody about this, so anytime it's brought up, it's one of those. I have to consciously calm myself down.
Something tells me you'll fit in with us. I think sorrow haunts us, even if we don't know it yet.
Some of us don't know it yet.
But we will. We do.
You get to the city, and there are many people out in the streets. And some of the captain's guard is trying to get people to move aside. And Grimiel doesn't take full lead, but he walks enough ahead and leads you back into the palace through the identical rooms and opens up the throne room door. The king is sitting there with one leg over his knee, holding his head up by the temple with a few of his fingers. He opens his eyes. Well, you've cleaned up that list quickly. I was expecting for it to take a few days, not a few hours.
Unfortunately, we got sidetracked.
Then what are you here for?
Yes, rather fortunately sidetracked, actually.
Riku and Amora tense up with the king's attitude. Grimiel just crosses his arms and puts his back up against the wall, but he does not look pleased.
Your dragon problem is at an end.
Oh, did you bring me its head?
Hardly.
We
Though we
freed
did
it.
tame its heart.
Right.
However, in light of this happening, we've also learned of another problem that's currently marching towards your doorstep.
Well, if you would have finished off the cleaning list like I requested you to, there wouldn't be
This
any...
is so much bigger than that. Bert has no qualms about interrupting him at this point. What we have to tell you is way beyond a simple cleaning list of what you've asked us.
He's marching to your city.
Armies are marching.
Within 4 days, likely, he'll arrive. Likely not him himself, but I'm sure enough troops to take the city.
The king looks over to Grimiel.
They do speak the truth. I was there when they were warned.
And pray tell, how were they warned?
It kind of involved a dragon and possession, but by an ally who happens to be in Death's Hall, but is definitely an ally.
I don't know about that.
Sage just shoots Rhea this deeply concerned, scared look, and then schools her face and faces the king again.
It's true.
This
The dragon had red eyes, and then they started to go black, and then they changed to a sagey green color. Different voices.
The king is not looking amused whatsoever. You know, Grimiel, I sent you out there to watch them to see if they did anything suspicious. Not to bring in this fallacy of...
You did what?
Don't blame him.
You sent a spy?
Would you do any different in his position?
Grimiel's...
Regardless of the damn spy, you have an army marching on your city and you're going to sit here and piss it off? Just... why? Why? Why can you not just get defenses ready? Innocent people will die. You, perhaps even included. Who knows what he intends to do with you?
At this point, Grimiel will get up from the wall. He looks at the king. He's doing a tennis match watch. And he backs up towards you.
Master Kyrish is right. We need to get the guards set up. We need to get the people evacuated down under. We don't have a lot of time. This is a big city.
Why? We have the barrier. It's fine. Anything evil that touches it is gonna burn to a crisp.
Like that
But
dragon?
a dragon broke through.
Well,
You know what?
If he
yeah.
brings 2 or 3 others here, you're fucked.
At this
He's not
point,
just
Bert
that.
takes a big old swig out of a flask, looks
You
at
know,
the
it's,
king and says, "You've been warned. Now
you
I
know, it's,
have other people to take care of. Do what
we
you
know,
will with the information."
we know it's not just that. We know at least 2 of them that'll be leading these armies. And I doubt they count as evil for these Saxon purposes.
They don't. They're being coerced. They may march right through the barrier.
It's more than being coerced, Sage. He's got
You know,
control of
Rhea.
them like he sometimes has on you. I saw it. They were resisting the fight when we were there. He clicked his fingers and their eyes went black.
Oh God. God.
Who are we talking about, Rhea?
My sister. And who I'm assuming was the other lady.
Leothera.
Who cares, Rhea? He obviously doesn't care. I'm leaving. At least we can actually go and warn someone worthwhile warning. And at
I'm
this,
with
he
you.
turns around and starts
I'm-
heading out.
Right behind you. Waste of our damn breath, if you ask me. This guy doesn't care about his people.
Sage is like standing in the room watching them leave, going,
Amora gets out of Bert and Kirish's way, and she gets up to the king. I don't care who your father is, who your mother is. You have to lead these people. These people rely on you. They are needing your safety and your guidance.
or we could kick you off the throne and put Gramil up there for now.
No.
You'd be a good leader.
I have the muscle for a leader. I do not have the brain.
And the king will stand up. He's about a head taller than Amora. And he's a good 6 inches from her. Well, if you're such a good leader, why don't you do it? Oh wait, you're just a little guardian of the little town of Mir. Long-eared freak.
Can Bert hear this?
Yes.
Rhea's,
Too late, I'm already casting.
Oh,
Rhea's
fuck
stepping
that.
up.
You are not gonna... No. Bert's turning around.
Rhea stepping up.
Oh, this is not gonna
What
be
was that
good.
again about long-eared freaks?
Kyrish, what are you doing?
Who did he say that to?
Amora.
Amora.
Oh yeah, no, he's turning around.
Rhea, as you step up, Sage, as you begin to cast, Bert and Kyrish, you turn around, you see Amora. It's just a blur. You see her whip out her sword, and you think she's gonna cut his head off, because Gramil reaches out to stop her.
She should go.
Please,
It
Chris.
stops
Dick.
right at his neck.
Oh, Mora,
At
you
least-
should've just done it.
Right now, he is unarmed. I cannot kill him, but at least I know how to keep my people safe. At least I do something about threats. And
Now
also,
listen.
next time you do an insult, make sure it's geared towards the proper person. Because I don't know how old you are, but you also must be blind, because Rhea is also an elf. And you can hear the sharp intake of breath as she pushes the blade in just enough. No one insults my friends. No one insults my family. And I'll be damned if I let someone insult someone I consider a shield sister. So either you do something about it, or we'll do something about you. Am I understood?
Take it from me. I've seen what they can do to a village, to a town. Even with protection, it will fall. You get them to safety. You make sure that they survive. Or I won't be like Amora. And I will crush your skull.
Oh, you're so lucky that the one who has qualms about killing unarmed got you first.
Kyrish is just in the back, towards the door, smiling. He just has his arms crossed.
Oh yeah, Bert's
He
gonna
knew he didn't have to
fucking
do
ear
anything.
He just wanted to watch the show.
Yep.
Grimmeal walks up to Amora, slowly and gently raises a hand on her forearm.
It's not worth it. Not right now.
And she will look over. She snorts. She takes her blade away. And just as a final fuck you, the small amount of blood she drew on the blade, she wipes it on the king's robes and sheathes it. Right. We have a city to save.
Ugh, bastard deserves first.
Indeed. Rio just turn around, then look back at the king. I may be a freak, but at least this freak knows the worth of a life.
Oh, enough insults to the Child King, everyone. Let's go.
Come on, I just want to... Just a little scorching ray.
Just a little blood, please.
So his arms are like glowing. Come on.
Grimmeal
Hey,
looks
she's
at
not-
you. Oh,
He's
go
not
ahead.
worth the spell slots.
Ouch.
Damn.
Rip.
The
Fucking
party.
right.
The party leaves, and Grimmeal will wait until he sees the last of you go through the corridor.
Keith and I warned you that your inactions would lead to your downfall. Your father can't solve every one of your problems. We warned you.
And he will walk away and close the door.
Fuck. Where is Keith? Summon him back right now. We need his help to take charge. Grimmeal, I don't know what beef you guys have, but you guys need to get over it. We need
Maybe
both
summon
of
him
you.
back. Maybe summon him back when we're back at the house.
Fine. I'm sorry for kicking that ass off the throne.
Kyrish is going to walk out the door and pull out Keith's stone. And summon him.
The stone glows a little bit bright. And the mist forms in front of you. And there is Keith.
Well, have you had enough time to cool off? In the desert.
You can see the first thing you notice is he is not clothed.
You done summoned him out of the bathtub.
The next thing you notice is the bright red scratches over his body.
We didn't summon you at a bad time, did we?
Were you at the brothel? What? You know what? Second thought, I don't want to know. Just, are you alright?
Why do you care?
What?
Oh,
Keith.
are we there?
What are you
There's
on about?
a huge misunderstanding here. You are important to us.
I'm confused. What is this about?
The only time you were actually friendly with me was when I was saving your precious Amora. You could have given 2 shits that I actually died to keep her alive enough for the king to heal her.
Are you
course
supposed
we
to have
do.
your voice mod on, by the way?
No, I think they changed. The voice mod was on. It's just, if you remember, we changed Keith's voice a bit to make it a bit more easy to understand.
It didn't sound like a voice
Right.
modifier, though.
It just sounded a little bit more tinny. But anyways, yeah.
Oh.
That's not true. Keith, I'm sorry if I said something to offend you, but I don't mean to say that your problems aren't as important as ours, because they are. But you need to understand, we have a lot going on, what with trying to find, well, our old lives.
Kyrish, don't minimize the pain that we caused by not speaking up. It's our
Rhea's
fault. We've hurt.
just gonna approach and
No,
look
we
like she's
have.
about to pull him in for a hug before realizing that's probably gonna be painful given all the scratches. So it's just finding a place to place the hand that there's not that many scratches.
And he's naked. Be kind of awkward.
Rhea is oddly used to this by now.
I mean, if it makes you
Okay.
any better, we just told the Child King off.
She travelled with Korik. She's used to people being nude by now.
True enough.
But she's gonna like rest her hand, probably like on his shoulder somewhere. We apologise if you felt slighted by us, or if we've treated you wrong, or if we said anything that upset you. We didn't mean it. We've just been under a lot. You do mean a lot to us. Not just for saving Amora, but for helping us out in general and just being there. We're as much abscondra as we are at this point.
Yes, perhaps we'll have to add a letter in there for you.
You've
Well,
left.
speaking of which, I know which one my letter is. But we'll get onto that later.
Maybe we'll go with a Gondrak.
We
Oh
need
no,
to
we
add a
gotta add
letter.
more in there too.
And Riku. And the dragon.
We'll just
Is
get the whole
renaming
damn
really
alphabet
the
in there.
issue right now?
And, you know, the badger that you still haven't desummoned.
He just looks down, he's like, oh.
The badger waves its paw.
Sorry, little one, I'll send you back home. He
Keith,
just snaps his fingers.
you're absolutely right. We have been caught up in our own selfishness and didn't express our gratitude in a way that we should have.
You snap your fingers. The badger just looks up. I don't feel so good, Mr. Kyrish.
Don't do that shit, what the fuck?
I
Keith
feel needs to
will...
happen here. And this just doesn't go for this situation, but in situation in general. We need to be more open with each other about this kind of stuff.
We're
Can't
not
let
the
it build
best
up
at
to this
people,
again.
are we?
Oh, by the way, Keith, you're more than justified for, well, not liking Gramil. He was apparently spying on us. For the Child King.
More like keeping an
I
eye
was
on us.
only told to give you support if you needed it.
Yeah, I
And to
think
make
the
sure that
Child
we
King is
weren't
the
doing
ass
anything
here.
suspicious.
I mean, Gramil was just doing his job, but what is with you and Gramil, anyways?
He deserted his post. Left the town without a word, without a trace.
Grimmeal looks at the party. And he looks at Keith.
Well, like I said, Keith just left the city and abandoned his post.
Keith will make it a point not to look at anybody.
Well, his given name. Well, he didn't have one. And well, I decided to give him one. Which is why you heard me say Heatkay a couple times.
At this, Keith looks over. He has a stoic look on his face.
I had seen Keith coming in to the city. We would hang around and, well, try and live as best as we could. We were living on the streets for a little bit, but the king saw Keith with his magical abilities and his prowess with a sword. He knew me for longer and knew of my own talents, but there was always a little bit of resentment that Keith got into the Royal Guard. Meanwhile, I had to stay out in the streets and steal. A few months went by and Keith left. No note, no nothing. Just gone.
Keith?
The
Keith just looks down at the ground.
I applied for Keith's position, but the king didn't want me. So in order to make myself known, but try and make honest pay, I went to the fighting ring. So far, I'm still the undefeated champion, armed or unarmed. Finally, the king came to me and offered me his place. I didn't think twice and I took it.
Keith, why'd you leave?
Well, I felt myself stagnating. The same routine, day in, day out. In the Royal Guard, there was a lot more restrictions. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. I was losing my sense of self. My own duties and whatnot. There wasn't much room for improvement. No matter how much I trained, you can only improve so much with training against people you've trained with for years. I heard of Tarn, how it was a bustling city, and all sorts of people there. And I saw that people in the port district, well, it reminded me a lot of myself and Gramil back in the old days. I figured I was more help there than I was with the king. Anytime I voiced a concern or tried to do something different, I was shot down. And was told the last time I would try to change the status quo, I would see myself removed. I'm sure you have seen the king with his rude and hostile persona.
Understatement of the century.
He's unpredictable. So I didn't know if that meant removed from the royal guard, exiled from the city, or put to death. I didn't want to get Gramil involved. And, well, I left. I didn't want to put him in danger either.
Clearly, you've never spoken to Gumil about this.
When I saw him on the outskirts of town with Amora strapped to his back, I was concerned. But my anger took over as I had seen he was using the forbidden technique. I didn't care that he was using it to save somebody else. I didn't care that he was using it for good. But something deep inside me just... I didn't want to see him die. So, me and my squad, we brought them to the king. The king just wanted to keep him dead. He had died just a few minutes outside of the city. There was still time to save him. The king didn't want to bring him back, for he feared he would be under his control. I told him what he used the forbidden technique on, and he didn't care. It's the reason it's forbidden. It's the whole reason why we are in the world we live in now. With his brother using the forbidden technique for horrible, horrible purposes.
Blood magic.
Grimil nods.
Got it.
I was angrier at the fact he left me behind. He thought we were friends. When he just left, well, I had assumed, well, I wasn't good enough for him anymore. The city wasn't good enough.
I also left because I felt an outcast. I wasn't born and raised in Gula. I was an outsider. And the locals here would just give me strange looks, suspicious looks. Even before this Stark Ruler madness, I tried my best to follow the customs, follow traditions, but it just didn't feel right. Honestly, other than Gramil, no one else accepted me. And honestly, I felt the same way towards you. Just the way you were talking about just trying to give away my stone. And everything else we just talked about. Why stay if I'm just gonna keep being an outcast? The part of the friend group that's feels obligated to keep me involved.
Do we feel obligated? Sage just looks around. I thought you stayed because, well, we need you. It wasn't pity. God, if anybody should be pitied, it's us. We're stupid. We're idiots. You're very capable. We've been honored to travel with. I'm gonna shut up now. I'm not good at this, people.
Question, I guess I have to the both of you. Grimel, Keith. Can we both look at the bigger picture? Can we all look at the bigger picture? And see simply that it's not just the towns that are in the path of this army. It's all of us as living beings falling to a necromancer and hordes of undead. And all that is unholy. The whole world as we know it could be reduced to ash and death and nothingness. And I don't know about you, but I have not come this far to allow that to happen, regardless of what this king thinks. Clearly he isn't up to the task of protecting his people, which leaves it to us. And if we don't come up with a plan, I'm afraid that the world as we know it is not going to be here. It's going to cease to exist if Turkey Feathers wins.
Well, as melodramatically as you've put it, you're not far off.
If that army hasn't stopped, think about the populations that they're not just going to kill, but re-raise.
Unfortunately, we need to either convince him or get the people to defend themselves, because we need to go to other cities. Okay.
Grimil, Grimil, you're the leader of the armies here, correct?
For the most part. But
So you can send messengers to people and to the soldiers to have them spread the word, which, I don't know, is a double-edged sword, because on one hand it could, without letting people know, they're just victims, and if we do let them know, it could cause mass panic.
If he does anything, it could mean him turning his back on the king.
I was
Well,
about
then
to say, I can give orders all I want, but if the king overrides it, we're fucked.
Exactly.
You're the king's advisor, yes? What's the best way to get us to get through to him? That this is as gravely important as we all know it is.
Grimil and Keith look at each other. They slowly nod. And at the same time, they say death.
So be it. The king will die.
Wait. Why are we getting involved in a city's politics? We have grander schemes to see through.
If we take the throne, then we can...
This isn't the first time the city has been in this level of danger. When the armies marched the first time, the king stayed in his palace while our armies and some of our civilians went out fighting. The only thing he did was call upon his father to erect the barrier. And that wasn't at the start.
Are we...
Perhaps there's a different way to this.
Yes, are we honestly okay with this? I'm not.
I was thinking
I
more
don't
along
want
the
to
lines
kill the
of
king. I'd rather leave the city.
we may not need to. She's just going to look to Keith and Gamil. Revolution. Let the citizens know what the king was planning to do, what the king was willing to sacrifice to keep himself safe. The citizens, the guards, will be able to uprise and deal with him themselves in a way that is more fitting than just us stomping in and essentially looking like we're doing a coup.
4 days before an army shows up at their door?
Leaving them without a leader or somebody in power, there would
They
be...
would have someone in lead and in power.
I do have a few underlings that are more loyal to me than the king. I can talk to them, start spreading the word. But we need to figure out a battle plan. Where are our melee fighters going to be? Where are the mages going to be? The archers?
We can't just stay here and lead armies for you. We have to go to other cities and warn them. We have to get messages to Tarn.
But from what the dragon woman, whatever she said, it sounded like it was just upon this city.
There's no other cities that lie in front of this one that are in their way.
Amora? Amora looks up. It's about a 3 to 4 month march from here to Death's Hole. However, with that weird black oval thing that creature did back in Brolk, it could be instantaneous. So they could drop it on the outskirts of Gula and form their formations as they march. This desert area is quite wide. So even if they drop on the border, well, that'll shorten that span.
And the city's surrounded by desert. Sands, right?
Yes.
Well, we know from experience that if you step off the main road that's solid, you'll sink into the sands.
True.
So with that being said, how many roads are there into Gula?
There
2 or 3?
3.
I think I know what you're getting at here. Are you thinking of setting up traps?
Well, I'm thinking that they only have 3 ways to get to the damn city without falling into the sands and sinking.
Mhm.
So that gives us 3 places to defend versus having to defend a full 360 degrees around the city. And if we set up sentries at points far enough away,
We can't rule out that they'll have magic casters.
we can dig trenches across the roads that are coming to the cities. And with
You
enough time, we could set bum rum casks along there.
don't need to.
Really? How much can your tiny body produce?
Don't ask that question.
If I have to die for the cause, I would.
Bert, you're not going to die shitting your pants. We're one party. There's less than 10 of us. What are we going to do against an entire army?
We have an army here. He just said that he's got underlings and they can get the people. A revolution isn't going to do us any good, but getting those people to help us defend this place by digging trenches, setting spike traps, whatever it is that we have to do before we set up archers and infantry and the mages.
What do we know about the pathway? Is it held up by magic?
It is. It is solidified sand, but the road closest to Death's Hall, you don't have to worry about that.
Why?
How so?
Let me show you. And he will start walking towards the east side of town.
Sure, okay. Whatever happens here, we need to be making plans to go after the next dragon.
The only one that we know of is the blue.
Yes, so we should start there.
Have you not realized yet that every town we've been in, there's been a dragon?
That's a good point.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to take over the world, wouldn't you put your minions in every place possible?
Except
I'm
for me.
surmising that he has phylacteries in every town. So it doesn't matter where we go, we're going to be meeting up with something.
Yeah, but Tarn's dragon is underneath it, in its sewers, quite literally undermining them.
Not to mention, unlike the others where we probably have to search them out, we at least know the location of that one.
Or we did.
I mean, even then, we know what color it was. We know more information about it than we do about the others.
As you finish
What's
your
it?
discussion, you're a ways out from the city. And Keith stops. And he motions his hand further down the desert. What do you see? Oh, exactly. Where's the path?
Is it not
You-
visible?
Cut the path already.
I didn't cut it. Amora, would you be so kind as to give a good full wing burst? Right about here. And he points a few feet in front of him. She gives him a very suspicious look. And she jumps up and she does a powerful wing burst. And as she does, the air from her wings blows the sand away and you can start to see the path.
Oh.
Are we all gonna sit here and think that they don't have mages or people that can counter magic?
I don't trust this.
It's not magic. They can't dispel something that's natural.
The desert
I
itself.
Besides,
Well,
if they
the theory
dispel the
said-
magic, they're screwing themselves over anyway because they'll delete the path entirely. As long as we stay in the barrier, if they happen to break through, they're all going to fall down in the sand, regardless if I hide the path or not. They don't know it's under the sand.
I don't trust this as an end-all be-all. There needs to be countermeasures as well.
He has a point, though. If they dispel magic, they just turn the hardened path into the same sinking sand.
It's not dispelling magic that they'll be doing. Who says that they can't just clear the path?
It will at least slow them down.
It'll slow them down, but just because you slow something down doesn't mean it's not going to eventually reach its goal.
And let's not forget they have dragons that don't need to walk on the ground.
That's if they do decide to take him away from the other places.
And that's a big if.
Are we assuming that that's the only dragons he has?
Well, he's got the one that lives in Death's Hall. Eldridge's dragon.
And if the red dragon at least got
She'll be back.
almost through the barrier.
Is these vials? And he holds up the yellow and the green one. Could possibly, if injected into the creature, be the end-all be-all to any reinforcement dragons it brings. But, as we've already seen, I haven't exactly gotten to test them. Thank you lot for being a lot better at killing things than I thought you were going to be.
Is that a
Grimmel,
compliment or an insult?
A little bit of both.
Well, I know the arrow you gave me. It made the creature turn into a hoot. The little tornado skeleton thing.
I'll need a bigger target to do more thorough testing, unfortunately. Because one target turned to dust, and I couldn't even test what I actually wanted to. Just... everything went to hell.
Bert looks at everybody and says, there's a couple things that I have to take care of. I have to find... Grimmel, can you lead me to a magic, a wizard, your highest mage, whoever it is in town that is most revered magic user?
Gramil looks to you, and he just slowly points at Keith.
Really?
Other than the king, yes. The king doesn't... Our main magic teacher was Sir Eldridge, but he taught everyone willing to learn if they had potential. But when he passed, the mantle fell into the king. Once the mages learned basic offensive, defensive, and healing skills, he stopped teaching them. By that point, it was too dangerous to go back out of the city.
Oh yeah. You mean I could have been talking to Keith this whole time about deciphering my spellbook? Look at Keith.
To be fair, you never asked.
Clearly I know. Maybe I underestimate everybody else's intelligence.
The first time I met you was in Tarn. My spells are different from the way you learn your spells.
Oh. How so?
Mine come from within, much like Kyrish's. Yours have to be learned and memorized and even put into a spell book. Well, in your case, tattooed.
Oh, you're a natural caster. Fuck. Still, I apologize for underestimating you.
I was really hoping to find someone who could provide scrolls, magic scrolls.
I'd surmise there'd be a curator around somewhere, no?
I know where the stash is located. Usually only the king has access to it. But I know my way around.
Taking a look might be helpful. I don't know what you've got cooking in that head of yours, Bert, but if it's to solve any of our multitude of problems, it's worth consideration.
Well,
But if it involves shitting, I'm out.
there's a couple of ideas I have rolling around in my head. And one is a way to possibly slow or disable a great amount of the army at once. And this is going to sound really dark, and I apologize, but if we could get all of the residents, and well, all the residents we can, to gather as much glass as they could into barrels and smash it down into dust, we could pour that dust into, say, a container, a bag of some sort, and Amora could fly over the top of the army and let loose the bag, which would put the dust into the wind and carry it on the air. And every breathing creature and every creature with eyes would get it in their lungs and in their eyes.
My girls, it's
It is
positively diabolical.
We
A
can't,
couple of problems with that.
we can't do that.
Why?
Most of the army is undead. I doubt they need to breathe.
Or see.
The ones that do need to breathe should just slow up to surge and then back to about they're in the same situation as the dragons.
Well, and my
How
other...
is oil productions around here?
We're not setting them on fire either.
If they're undead, what the hell do you think we're going to do about them?
Well, maybe the undead, but not. We can't. Not everybody.
We can't just not kill people that are intending to kill innocents.
We have to stop them, and there's no way to turn them, their minds, change their minds. Clearly,
Maybe if we talk to them.
they're clearly undead and evil, and intent on killing everything they touch.
Look, apparently I worked for Turkey Feathers. What if I could convince the leaders of the army coming here that they're in the wrong and they need to go elsewhere?
What kind of magic is that?
Well, here's banking on infamy.
So you're gonna use your past influence in his followers to try and realign yourself with them and then convince them they're wrong?
Or convince them to send their army to their doom.
That might not work
So-
for one very important reason.
What happens if it doesn't work?
Look, it's an idea. That's all we're spitting out
And
here.
it's a good idea.
It's a great idea, but I'm just worried about you and your life if it doesn't work and they see through your bluff, as it were, and like you could be reduced to being one of them.
And Cleo knows. She knows you're alive and with us.
Oh, that's who.
Well,
And Sana
Mind
probably knows as well.
that's...
They're not serving because they want to.
We're under the same situation as Sage
The
has been
dragons.
before.
And if not directly, then at any point they could become possessed.
Then
So I don't know. Wait! And Sage just looks at Rhea. Exactly the same?
When I saw the visions of us there in the hole, ready to take him down, your girlfriend and my sister were there.
Influences.
My sister hesitated, thanks to your girlfriend. But in doing
not-
so,
I don't know her. I don't. We'll stick with Cleo.
clear. But in that happening, he clicked his fingers and their eyes turned black.
God. How? How? Fuck. Damn, I don't understand the magic. If only I had looked. I didn't know. That's not important right now. You know,
Paige,
wizard magic, wizard stuff. Wizard, I'm just thinking thoughts. Keep brainstorming.
Sage, if
Mhm.
if we could get a teleportation stone made for you, and one of us kept it, you could, and got you a teleportation scroll, you could teleport into Death's Hall.
That's a fantastic idea. The only magical person we know are the Child King and... well,
Okay,
we've
so
basically met everyone that is a magic caster here.
Besides, didn't we ask about making teleportation stones? I look at, like, the 3 people who have them. You mentioned it was difficult to obtain them.
Grimule looks at Keith with a very confused face. Well, Bob has a way of making them. I'm not even sure what that entails. But I would not be comfortable sending you there, even if someone was with you.
Oh, I'd go back in a heartbeat. If I could make the ruler, sorry, turkey feathers, take me there now, I would do it in a heartbeat. I have questions.
Better yet, if we could send you with a teleport stone, or teleport, and we could make a bum run bomb, and jerk you back with a teleport stone.
I'm
We
not
could
bombing
just-
his castle. It's full of innocents.
No, just the mirrors.
I don't think that would work. Yeah, we're talking in circles.
That's what brainstorming is, isn't it?
As you're
How are
talking, Gramil looks off into the distance. And you see him pull out a bolt. But instead of an arrowhead, it's almost has a cylindrical tip. Who all is going to look where he's aiming?
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna look at the bolt for sure, because that's a curiosity that is giving me an idea.
I think Sage's just too caught up in her own mutterings.
What about you, Kyrish?
What about me?
Are you looking to where Gramil is aiming his arrow?
I suppose, yeah.
Oh, Bert.
Oh, I was trying to get the dice off my damn screen.
You all look at the bolt. You follow the gaze. Amidst the blue sky, you can see a black circle forming.
How far away?
Fuck.
It's quite a whiles away. But Gramil looks over to Amora.
How good are you with a bow?
She raises an eyebrow. I think I'm a pretty damn good shot. Why?
I need you to shoot this fire, or shoot this arrow where that hole is.
Hey, it shouldn't be too far. She takes the arrow. This is a bit forward heavy. This isn't a normal arrow, is it?
Oh, it's something I designed a little back. Something when the trade route was still active.
She takes it and she starts flying above the air. And you see her zoom off into the distance. The black's object is getting bigger and bigger. And Amora is getting smaller and smaller.
Everybody's quiet and Sage looks up like, why did we stop talking? Oh, fuck.
You wait with bated breath. You wait with bated breath for Amora to come back. Keith is fidgeting slightly. And from the black oval is just a black stream coming down. And then the stream stops. And the black object in the sky slowly shrinks and disappears. There is a low rumbling off in the distance. And the next thing you see is a huge eruption of fire. The rumbling pauses and continues again, the rumbling going away from you. A few minutes come by and Amora comes back. And there's a couple scratches on her arms, a few on her face. And she grabs Gamil by the lapels. If you're going to send me on a suicide mission, at least warn me first so I can properly prepare. He calmly grabs her wrist and removes her hands from him.
Well, what came out of it?
She narrows her eyes. Well, they're inbound. I don't know what that arrow was, but it took out a good chunk of the force.
But none of the actual people, right?
She looks at Sage.
So much for not setting anybody on fire.
She looks at Sage. I couldn't tell. I was too busy dodging the torrent of arrows that were coming my way.
Cool.
But there are some big things, so... there's that.
Okay, who knows how to defend the city?
Amara looks at Gamil. This is your stomping grounds. You lead the armies. No pressure, but do it well. Keith is standing there, looking out towards where Amora was, and just shakes his head.
Where were they dropped?
At that point, Riku comes up, jumps up and slaps Gamil in the face. How can you be so calm? This big black thing came in the sky, dropped a bunch of whole enemies, I guess, and Amora almost got sniped from the sky.
She has a good point.
Oh, he's just that predictable now. Like I said, this isn't his first attack on the city.
Amora huffs. Right on the border.
Alright, so... I'll say what? After we go to bed tonight, it'll be 3 days? I think that's plenty of time.
Let's hope so.
Bert's gonna scan the skies. How long has it been since the dragon left?
Between your fight in the afternoon and your surgery in the late afternoon, it's not dark yet, but in a few hours it will be.
But I just hope she gets back in time.
Let's face it. We'll hear her before we see her.
Oh, I imagine so.
Let's get moving. What can we do? What can we marshal?
I will get the ambush squads ready to go and placed alongside the road. Have them flanked, and that way they essentially are surrounded, and not us.
What can we do?
Right now, rest up, save your strength, and start getting the citizens underground. Keith, you know how to do that.
Keith nods. And he looks at Grimiel. I have a few other things I need to do first. Apparently, the dragon wasn't the only thing sleeping in the sands. She wasn't the first dragon to be in the sands.
Is there another? Are they dead? I'm confused.
Are they undead?
Bert is correct. I was swimming through the sands to try and find your dragon friend when I came across remains. Well, not of a dragon, but more of a wyvern, but I went to investigate to make sure it was really dead, and, well, it wasn't. So far, I've encountered 2 of them, but I'm not sure how many others there are.
You don't think that was pertinent information?
I never got the chance to say it.
Maybe we can take care of those in the days between now and the army's arrival.
We don't even know how many there are.
Taking care of one is better than having that one attack us later.
I don't feel like we're ready for this sort of combat.
Of course we're not.
When have we ever been ready for these kind of combats?
I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready. Let them come.
This never stopped us before.
Right.
But we do need to get some rest, regardless.
Right. While Nami marches towards us.
It's, well, maybe not some rest, but I do need some preparation time.
Rest is needed.
You deserve.
May not be the thing you want to hear right now, but the last thing you want is to be passed out on the battlefield.
don't know what to do.
Let's start by spreading the evacuation notice. They don't have to actually evacuate until we're closer to the time of the army's arrival, but let's start spreading, let people know where to go and when to go.
Give some time to prepare as well, I guess.
Mm-hmm. We can maybe implement some of those defenses Bert mentioned.
We're going to spread panic. I hope you're prepared for that.
Definitely not, but I'd rather
Is there
people
any-
know what's coming than try to hide it from them.
If
They're
we're
gonna
doing
know
this-
sooner or later.
If we're doing this, though, we need to be prepared for the fact that the king's gonna try and silence us as well.
That bastard. I'll knock him flat on his ass if I have to. Put him in his own goddamn tongue.
Gurmil, what was the last attack warning that you gave to the people? How was it spread? Do you have a siren, an alarm? Do you have...
I wanted to implement a new one. The current one is just word of mouth. We would do a section of the city at a time, so that way there wasn't panic flooding down below.
And that's where we start. Word
Yep.
of mouth.
By
Get
the
it started.
gods, this moron really didn't know how to take care of a city, did he?
No, he does
At all.
not.
We're gonna have words later. I'm gonna kick his ass so hard.
Get in line.
Good to hear you sound like the Rhea I know.
The Rhea you knew.
That was an ominous tense change. Are you okay?
After some rest, maybe. I don't know, things are playing on my mind right now.
Right, we can talk after shit goes down. All of us.
Honestly, it'd be better to have it out before shit goes down. That way, no deaths with regrets.
Nobody's going to die.
She's just gonna side glance to Sage with that.
Everybody dies.
We won't let it happen again.
I died with a smile on my face. I was content the way I went.
Well, fantastic that it won't be happening again then.
I'm sorry we stole that from you.
It's fine. I just need it to be known. If it comes down to a situation where I could save you lot, even if it means myself, I'm not gonna hesitate.
I'd tell you off for that, but honestly, same. But please try to avoid it. Like, all seriousness.
Well, don't get me wrong, it's a last resort.
Cool. No suicide missions. Any of you.
Well, damn, there goes my ideas.
You're an ass.
Yeah, so I'm told.
Alright, let's stop jabbering. Get to work.
As you say this, there is a large scream coming from where Amora was flying. And who goes to turn towards the scree?
Yes.
Everyone?
Disguise anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Pretty much everyone, huh?
You see 3 winged creatures
Shit.
coming for you. Amora jumps up in the air with her sword and shield ready. And you hear a faint rumbling. A familiar rumbling.
Like something moving through the sands?
Yes.
Well, you know that bone waving finger you're on about?
Well,
Bloody
good times, good times. Yeah,
rest for the wicked is
never.
You see the wyverns
Don't
get
don't grow on
closer
trees.
to where you can see the bony, rotting remains of wyverns. And behind them, sand erupts in a geyser. This is the first time you're able to appreciate how big Eastrel is. She is nearly twice the size of these wyverns. Her red scales glow like fire in the sunlight. And when she roars, it actually pushes the wyverns a little further away from her, closer to you.
Well, you were wondering how long it was going to take her to get back.
I
I'm
know.
not-
I believe the
she-
time is right on time.
Yeah,
Is she still on our side?
I sure hope so.
Yeah, what do you think?
As you ask this, she will take a claw and she grabs one of the wyverns from the sky. It tries to claw with its back legs and tries to bite her. And she is still following the wyverns as they are flying towards you. And you don't hear it. But you see the creature with the wings, neck, and head falling out of her hand, the tail and a back leg falling from the other hand, and when she opens her claws, you just see gray dust falling from it.
Ew.
She goes and lunges for the second one. She misses, and it starts to do the familiar form that Amora did, the corkscrew around her neck, trying to bite Nick and kick her. If it connects, she shows no signs, but she doesn't play games. You see her lift up her head, and you see a beautiful gush of flame flying out from her mouth, and you see the wyvern engulfed in the flame. And you see the figure in it, but slowly the figure disintegrates. And with the final wyvern, she raises up. It's still flying around her. She can't get to it. She flies up and then she arcs and she just nosedives into the sand. And as she does, you can see large bits of the bone wyvern just flying up in the air from the impact going into the sand.
Sick.
Well, that solves that problem.
Well, I suppose it does.
Didn't she say she was bringing reinforcements? Where are the other dragons?
Well, she said she was going to attempt.
Well, can I?
Did she?
Is she close enough to call out to?
Yeah, Kyrish was gonna go to, like, the border of the city.
Okay. And you call out for her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Desert Cat. It's not time yet.
Cat?
Can't even hear him.
Wow, that's a first. Good, then you won't show up on the mic anymore. As cute as you are, it can get a little bit annoying. Yes. But you call out, and there is the majestic head of Eastrel gently coming out of the sands. And she does a gentle shake and to remove the last of the sand.
So, which one of you summoned the horde?
None of us. That would be turkey feathers.
She has no idea.
Your former master.
Oh, that explains all the skeletons and other undead abominations.
Is that all that came through?
Not much that I could see. There was a huge scorch mark in the desert, but... well... there's a few more undead flyers. I don't know where they went. But... they all seem rather small. The only big thing I saw was a very large dog. It was really weird.
That's all well and good, Sage, but what did she come to find? Do we have aid? Oh no.
I told you I would go find help after the army. Now that it's here, we can take care of it. The faster we defeat it and secure the safety of the town, the faster I can go back to home.
Right. Well, Camille, Keith, we need to dispel those pathways as soon as possible.
Right, I'll get some of the mages and we'll get to work on it.
I'm going to keep looking under the sands for any other hidden surprises.
Be careful.
I always am.
Is going to ready his crossbow and make sure that he has cask of bum rum handy.
As much as I admire your tenacity, I think we need to consider the grander scheme here. One crossbow isn't going to defeat an army.
The crossbow is not for the defeating of the army. It's to set off these casks of bum rum.
Wait,
Should I go start spreading the news about invasion and taking shelter?
at this point, where are they going to take shelter at?
Underneath
They
the
can't
city.
leave the city.
Keith, didn't you mention something about underneath the city?
There is a special place under the city. Underneath the one who actually gave a shit about the people here.
The statues.
Originally, it was Sir Eldridge, but when we heard you did not return from Death's Hall, we also erected your statues there for a little symbolic purpose.
That is deeply cheesy.
Before we start rallying the people, though, I just had a realization. How deep does the loose sand go?
Keith and Grimil look at each other.
Well, it's enough to house her.
And he points at Eastrel.
Right. So there can be an entire army of undead under the sands, and we don't even know it.
I can assure you, there is not. When it gets to the colder months, I like to go deeper. It is quite deep. And there is nothing other than myself that lives there.
But even if we cut the pathways, they're still going to be able to come through, no? Perhaps not the living, but certainly the undead.
If they have good swimming abilities, and if they're made for the desert, yes. The hardened sand is just a few feet deep. It doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. But... Go on.
I'm not saying about the hardened sand. It's the loose. That the undead can just go through eventually, no?
They would sink.
And be stuck.
Well, they would just keep sinking for eternity. Those accustomed to the sands, such as the Bugas, we're meant for the sand, so we're able to swim through it like Riku can through water.
Right, well, okay then, never mind. That idea just went out the window. Right, get everybody ready then.
Cat!
God
So
damn it, Rocky.
I guess I'll send Darling in one direction and take myself in another direction, and we'll let it grow exponentially, telling everybody to tell 2 more people.
Yes, because everyone's going to listen to a bird screaming at them.
Shut up, Kyrish.
I will stay out here, and if I encounter any flyers,
My best friend.
or anything big, I will handle it.
I have a question. One last question. Can I ask a favor of you?
Depends on what it is.
When we get this all finished and we get you reunited with your egg, will you take me on a ride on your back?
Bert, it's not
I'm
giving-
sorry, it's a really inappropriate time to ask this, but I want to fly before
You're
I die.
right, but this is an inappropriate time. Easter, we
My
very
bad,
much
just
appreciate
think
what
on
you're
it,
doing
please.
for us.
I take no offense. It isn't every day that I get to meet an interesting group of people that don't want to kill me on sight. I think at least before you leave, I can take you for a little flight.
That would be amazing. And Bert just giggles like a damn...
Actually, I could fit all of you if you also wished.
We'll come to that later. Yes? Yes.
Good luck, and I will see you on the battlefield.
And she is going to sink under the sands.
You know, it's kind of terrifying to know that there's a giant dragon. Just pointing that out.
Yep, and the fact that you cannot see her until she comes up,
Tweet you?
and then it's done.
That's wonderful. And that is we have a wonderful ally in her. However, we still need to prepare ourselves for battle.
You're welcome, and Rhea, I'm sorry once again.
What?
For
Everything.
making sure that we have this ally. And he will turn and start heading into the city.
Rhea's gonna tremble slightly before taking a deep breath. Right, let's just get
Amora.
later.
Amora will come up to you. Come up to your side. And she holds your hand and gives a tight squeeze. It's not where the fingers are interloped, but it's almost like the handshake type of handhold. And she whispers, just enough so only Rhea can hear. Everything will be fine. We'll make it through this, and you're strong.
Not me that I worry about. It's them.
They are strong
Them
like
and
you.
Them and every innocent soul in that city.
And they have us. They have you to protect them.
This war's claimed too many as it is. No more. No more. I won't let another city fall like Ilia.
She lets go. And it won't. Because Gondra is gonna save the world. You walk back to the city. And as you do, it travels far out to the scorch mark that Eastrel claimed there was. Troops are getting back on their feet, getting their formations together again. Some undead are missing some limbs, parts of their body, but they don't care. There are 2 living creatures going through and setting a few bodies on fire. They're covered in soot, but otherwise they're fine. A blonde-haired woman looks to a blue-haired woman. Do you think that you'll be able to stop us this time? No. I don't think so. We're far enough away. I've noticed that, at least with this, it's a distance thing. So I think we might be able to, well, not be affected. Oh, I hope so. He's already pissed off enough about losing the red dragon. The blue-haired woman will put a hand on the blonde-haired woman's shoulder. Cleo, it'll be fine. My sister and your girlfriend's here. With them getting flanked, they stand no chance. Right, but I'm hoping the dragon doesn't see us as an enemy. Well, we'll come to that when it comes to it. Maybe. For right now, let's get on the hounds. Try and slow down the march. When night falls, we'll be 3 days away from the city. So you mean in a few hours? You know, you don't have to be so literal at times. I just hope they're ready. Nisana laughs. Well, first off, my sister's in there. She has more anger issues than a drunken dwarf and a horny bard. We'll be fine. Trust in them. I do. But what if he happens and the blue-haired woman grabs the blonde-haired woman? Stop thinking about what ifs. That's gonna just keep you off focus. You need to focus now. Just imagine that your girlfriend is on the other side of, in the city, and all of these things are in your way. And you gotta barrel through them to get to her. You're right. They both give a sharp whistle, and two huge dogs made of skeletons and rotting flesh come forward and lower down. The women mount the dogs, and they start the slow march forward. Favorite nerd out time!
Ah! I can't wait to listen to everything about Rhea's past. Maybe I'll wait like a week or two so we can find out some in-game shit.
I mean, there still needs to be a couple of uploads beforehand anyway, so...
Yeah, I gotta put the session recaps up and then session
yeah.
18, yeah.
Fuck.
Hey, yo,
I'm
Gracie.
impatient!
I know you
so
are.
you'll have to wait until next week.
Oh.
Yes!
I was really hoping to kill some undead shit.
Oh, you still have your
think-
chance.
I think there'll be plenty of that next week. Oh, good grief.
I know, and they didn't get nearly enough out of Rhea yet.
I know. I want to know so bad, but it's like confronting somebody who's like been through something traumatic. You're like, I don't want to force you to tell me, but oh my god, I have to know.
As she said, when everyone goes to rest tonight, she will bring this up. As well as other stuff.
Let's just go sit down in around a fire. Yeah. Oh wait.
We don't even need to go to
We're
an inn.
about to fight armies.
We've got that building.
And it does have a fireplace in it.
Right?
Yeah.
There's couches.
And we also have a dragon friend. There we go, there's the fire.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Dragon's fire.
Alright, Rhea, I'm pretty sure I know what your favorite part is, but tell us anyway.
You know, that one with redacted, and also when redacted, and I don't want to spoil shit for people here. They will have to wait to find out, but everything about that. Also, yes, I definitely got the numbers wrong if I got dragged in.
Bert, what about you?
I think my favorite part's gotta be the interaction with the king.
I know, right?
That
When
man is
Laura
such a
almost
dick.
took his head, I was just praying that it happened.
God, she's so hot.
Hey, spilling blood. Just cover your white, beautiful feathers in gore. I want to watch. And then I got the idea about the glass and the air and killing all those things, blinding them. Everybody thinks now that I'm this really, really dark person.
I mean, this hasn't been the first time you brought up killing a mass amount of people. Hey, let's stick a cask of bum rum down a well and explode it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Bert might not be this person that everybody thinks he is. Some shit's might's about to change. We'll see.
It's the big Jack Horner scene. Well, you know what they say, can't test bum rum without killing a few dozen men.
Exactly.
Can't bake a
I
pie.
just watched that damn movie last night. That was hilarious.
Oh, it's such a good movie. We're getting distracted though.
It's
Don't
obviously
get
still not out
distracted.
here.
But yes, the fact that she put that sword to his neck with such a quickness was epic. Like, perfect reaction. And I get to go ride a dragon. That's gonna be pretty awesome.
Sage, what about yourself?
I think I like just how differently every character reacts to the same situation. Everybody's anger at the king was the same but completely different, and that just delights me. How different these characters are. But yet the same. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. I love you guys, you're all great!
That made perfect sense.
Shit, I like the fact that we made fun of a damn king and walked away from it. Has anyone else realized that?
That's very
We
true.
still have our heads.
We made him out to be a fool, called him a child king, and and he didn't tell us.
If he tried that, Rhea would have smashed his head into the back of the throne.
If Amora didn't beat you to it.
Well, I mean, it might have been off of his body from Amora, but I'm pretty sure he just still picked it up and smashed it into the back of his head.
He's such an ass.
And Amora could just hold the blade out there. Rhea will just move the head forward enough that it goes onto the blade and then back onto the throne and back and forth like that.
Oh my god.
Multitask.
Are you sure we're the lawful
The good guys?
good
Like,
group?
that's what I'm
Oh
saying.
god, you are not lawful good. No, you're chaotic
We're not
neutral.
lawful.
For real. Because I'm just saying, I'm falling more and more towards that evil side. Fight fire with fire, they say.
Yeah, I think that is an actual thing. Let me just check. Yeah, no. Barbarians cannot become lawful, or else we can't rage.
Whoa. 3.5 rules are wild.
That's interesting.
Could you imagine a barbarian paladin?
Could you imagine a barbarian that can't rage?
Oh god. Might as well be a paladin at that point. But...
You're just a fucking NPC at that point.
Oh. Damn. Alright, Kyrish. Favorite part?
I mean, I just said.
Oh. Well, I didn't know if you had something else or if you were adding on to the discussion.
I mean, a little bit of both, I guess, yeah. Yeah, the whole thing of, like, we can spend so much time here just discussing how to do this or how to do that, you know, what plans we can do to try and defend the city, and it just completely gets all blown out of the water in about 2 seconds.
All because of a dice roll.
Pretty much.
My favorite part of this episode was I would say towards Rhea's moment. It actually... Let's just say I teared up and I started choking up near the end of it.
I heard that. I could tell. It was like you were saying stuff, and then you'd have to pause and then repeat yourself. And like, yeah. I was right there with you. That's why I had to mute myself.
She's too powerful. Leigh's too powerful.
Damn all.
The raw emotion in the game gets me because we put so much of it into our characters.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I was saying I can't wait for Rhea to have that heart-to-heart with y'all.
Oh boy.
She is going to unload.
Not a dry eye.
And not unload as in a Coric unload.
Or a Bert unload.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh. Do I want to be
that'll be
sticky or
happening.
stinky?
Oh boy. Or both.
Nope, we're stopping there.
Oh, man. Oh.
Better, I'm going to make them all weepy.
Yeah, there won't be a dry eye in the house.
I have the power and I could hold it over. Red from me.
So, are we gonna have a rest in between this and our next battle, or is it
Yes.
just coming in and it's just gonna be here?
You have 3 days, so basically you're gonna go rest. So you're gonna go rest, do stuff within the city, and then basically every time you rest, a day is going to pass.
Okay.
How much bum rum can I produce in 24 hours?
How much can one
I've got
body
3
shit?
days.
Without
3
getting
days.
sick, not enough.
I don't care if I'm sick.
Let me look in your
Take healing
thingy.
potions. Or cast cure minor wounds.
God. Kindly don't waste those potions, fucking hell.
Is that the
You-
works fucking fault?
It takes 2 hours to make.
Do you know, like those bloody howitzer cannon things where they're just like the giant upright cannon on the wheels? Someone just built one of those kind of things with a harness for Bert to just strap into with his ass fist at the enemy.
There you go.
Oh my god.
You put a keg with a tap and just put me upside down and point me at the world in a wheelbarrow. And you
Oh
just
my
keep that
God.
tap open and I'll keep drinking and it'll just come out like, yeah, flamethrower.
Oh no.
Too bad I wasn't a rabbit, I'd shoot out fiery pellets.
If you're a wombat, you shoot out fiery cubes.
It's even better.
Cat!
Or Hershey's.
Oh my god!
Yes. Someone is hungry.
It's not even time
Ah.
yet!
I love cat. I love.
I mean, it'd be
You
like
want him?
napalm
Have
if I
him.
was,
There you go.
I was doing it from the belly of a freaking wyvern.
But I am excited to see, because, like Grimil said, he knows a way. And I'm really excited to see what your reactions are going to be.
They're gonna say you're really excited to see what he does, and I was like, wait, what?
Oh no, I'm excited for your reactions to
I'm
what
worried.
he does. Oh, you should be.
Oh, great!
You should be.
We just take a long rest. We wake up to the fantasy equivalent of Les Miserables.
Watch out, honey. But yeah, the one I'm excited most about is going to be Coric and Bert. And that's all I'm going to say on the matter.
Wait, what? Huh? What?
Oh,
You can't do this to me again.
I'm doing it. Hey, at least no one died. Or in the process
Yeah.
of dying.
Well, okay, there's that, but what oh, now I need to know what my
Mhm.
reaction. All right,
Mhm.
I will suffer for another week.
DM powers. Oh, thank you all so much for listening in to our shenanigans. If you liked the video, do so down below and comment what your favorite part of the video was. And don't forget to peck that bell and scratch the subscribe button so you know when the next video comes out.
My favorite part of the video was 12:18. And now I'm curious to see what 12:18 actually will be in the video.
Yeah, because I edited it, so yeah, it's gonna be... I have a feeling it's gonna be something.
Maybe somewhere during the whole giant lore drop thing, but I don't know whereabouts in the giant lore drop it's going to be.
Oh, it's gonna be a juicy bit. It's gonna be a real juicy bit. But we all hope you are having a good one, and we will catch you next episode.
Bye!
Laters.
Rocky says bye too.
Blah.
As he just screams at me.
Bye.
Oh my God. If Fred doesn't say bye, we can't end the video, and therefore the session carries on.
Forever.
Shame.
You'll never leave.
I just
It's
like
not-
the tiny bye.
It's not 5 a.m. here yet. We've still got time.
Oh god. Let's not do that again.
No. I got wrapped up in combat and what was going on. I'm like, oh fuck.
Oh.
It just made me laugh because that's been like 2 sessions in a row where we've gone on that long. And they're going, another one was going to be a part 2.
Whoops. Oh, DMobo out.